Brian's going to be on in a second. He's late to the.
Where is he? Where is he?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he didn't get the link for to hook up. He'll be on in about in a minute. And so, how's you're in France, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'll show everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in Cannes or Cannes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, hold on here. I will show you my view. There it is.
Oh, look at that, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So,
are a lot of people going to that convention? Is there a big turnout?
Yeah, it's sold out. Yeah, it always sells out. Yeah, sold
you
out.
know what? I'm gonna go to that one.
Yeah, next year it's in London. It's in London next year.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
it's usually the. You know what? I may end up going to that one because
you should.
My wife always wants to go to London, and I'm not a big fan of the monarchy, and but if I could write off the trip, maybe I'll do it. So
yeah, you could do it. Yeah, it's worth it. Totally worth it.
But oh yeah, so how's Brian? Is he still having a hard time? All right, so Brian,
I'm not having a hard time anymore, Rob. You know.
All right, he's on. Okay,
there he is.
So I want to talk about in this market, you can't get away for screwing up on an evaluation. You got like last year and earlier this year. I mean, you could put your house at whatever price, and you're a winner chicken dinner. Like you did well, but I mean, a lot of people are still going back 6 months for doing their evaluations. What the heck is that about? Like, there's a lot of houses on the market, a lot of overpriced houses. What does how does a guy really like to do the evaluation? How do you determine where the pivotal point is? God, I mean, you got 600 agents under you, Conrad. Like,
I hear you. I'm a big fan of the HPI, the CREA, Canadian Real Estate Association, HPI, and the home price index. I'm a big fan of it. It starts to show you some trends. I look average price. I wouldn't even bother looking at average price. It's really you should be looking at benchmark price, which kind of takes the high highs and the low lows. But yeah, but what's interesting is you can't go look. It's different for everybody. So 12 months ago, if you go back 12 months ago, townhouses are up 14.3%. Okay, and apartment style in Hamilton are up 21%. So you got to be careful. It's not everything for all people. Like you can't go 6 months. You got to really look at when did when did it level off? And it has to be that individual type of property. So you just can't be, doing that. Now, down over the last month, 4.1% for 1 story, 2 stories down less than 1%. So it seems that people, their situation, they're looking for bigger homes. 2 stories seems to have leveled off, and towns and apartments, towns are down 4.3, and apartments are down 2.4. But those 2 segments are they're still doing way better than they did a year ago. So they're doing better than last summer at this time, right?
And we actually had an event last night, and we had an economist talk at it, and I think you do a great job of this too, Con, where he was saying he was scrapping the year-over-year numbers. Because he was like, last year's a unicorn. And a lot of times when we see the media and we see the headlines, you're seeing 20%, 25%, like decrease or this or that, or the other. But when you compare it to the average, he said, so stop comparing year over year numbers, compare it to the average. And he showed some numbers actually for Hamilton and Niagara that were actually 1-2% increase based on the average, right? So you take out the high highs and the low lows. Yep. And it's a way better, and I think, and we were talking about, the sage advice, the long-term, benefits of buying and owning real estate. When you compare it to the average versus the year over year, that's most Canadians are going to own their homes for a minimum of 10 years. Like I think the average homeowner owns 10 or 11 years now. So over 10 or 11 years, it's way better. Way better.
Yeah. The other thing to keep in mind too is the rapidity of the market. So June and July, 40% of the new inventory was getting absorbed. August, 54% was getting absorbed. And now the early indications of September, it's around 40%. So we just have to replicate August. Then we'll be fine. We will be fine. But I will say this, that the months of inventory, months of supply, So what it takes to sell a home, like how many to absorb all the inventory, if not another house gets listed, 3 months June, 3 months July, 3 months August, we're going into 5-month territory in September.
Wow.
So yeah. So and that's early indications. We still got another week or so, right?
So we need that 6-month contract now with the sellers almost, because sometimes it takes that much time to work the listing and get the price reductions over time if they're not if we're not on the ball on that number. Like it's like I'll tell you, I've listed properties and I thought bang on, they followed my direction and they said, Rob, let's go with your number. I get no problem. And I'm thinking, and guess what? It's sitting. They're getting showings, but nobody is coming to the plate with an offer. And then the other thing now that's happening is these low ball offers that are coming in, 200,000 under asking, and the price and the price of the house is priced pretty, not that far off the number. Like, are you seeing a lot of that coming? Like hearing about that, Conrad?
Yeah, because absolutely, and everybody seems to be kicking the tires and seeing what they can do. But like I said, 2 stories starting to level off in Hamilton all over. So that's going to change things. So people's situations, household creation, you got to watch demographics, baby boomers, grandchildren. Are they entering the market? I think it's all that. And I think what you have to be very strategic as a realtor today and price it accordingly in the market, in the right, in terms of the right price point that's going in the market. So 56% of the homes that are selling are probably between 550 and 830, somewhere in that range. It's a big range, but it tells you a lot. But what's interesting, and I want to circle back to this because something we had talked about too, Rob, is the FSBO companies. Like they're completely lost in the market right now, that's a strong indicator of what's going on. So they've only sold this year 20% of what they sold last year. They're down 80% from March. And they are down 70% overall in the year. And now you have to understand our trading area is only down 23%. So they're significantly below the trading area's numbers. So it's because it's a very frustrating situation if you don't have a realtor, like somebody from the Golfi team that's very strategic, understands marketing, can pivot. Because now cumulative days on market went from 12 in July to 31 in September, and they were 25 in August. So you've got to pivot. You got to watch. You guys are marvels at digital advertising, and with digital, you can kind of tweak it. And you can see the response. You got the analytics. You can see where people are coming from and where you're getting more of that engagement, and you can tweak that marketing plan. Anybody that doesn't do that out there, doesn't have a very strategic marketing plan, will fail miserably.
Wow. And you're seeing like Brian, like you see the deals coming in now. I mean, everybody everywhere it's down. Like, what are you noticing in deals coming in? People are cashing out and not buying anymore. Like they're saying, "Hey, I can't afford the mortgages." Well, what are people mostly doing? Things are running smoothly, right?
Well, I've talked about this before too, is that people who are coming in for pre-approvals are buying houses, right? So people who come and get pre-approved, they understand the rate is going to, 5, 5.25, 5.5. They're not thinking about 6 months ago. And they're starting a family, they're moving into a new house. They're a first-time buyer, right? Like these things are tried, tested, and true that have happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. There's still people that are in, they're in the stages of their lives where they're going to buy a house. So we're seeing these people buy houses. And you know what? It is, honestly, from my perspective, it is so refreshing. We're back to having like the tried, tested, and true conversations. How's your budget? Can you afford it? Fixed versus variable. Listen, do we know where rates are going to go? Probably up a little bit, but can you afford it if it does, right? Or do you prefer the certainty? We're educating people, as to what it is. And it's really going back to, in my mind, like when we were doing mortgages 10 years ago. It's just, you're going to put in a conditional sale. So the people that are getting pre-approved right now are buying. They're ready to buy. They're excited to buy. People who are sitting on the sidelines, I feel like They sat on the sidelines when it went up. They're going to sit on the sidelines when it goes down. And then when it goes back up again and whatever, 6, 12, 8, whenever it's going to be, they'll still be on the sidelines. And I don't think it's going to be when they get into the market. It's going to be if. So I think, for people that are pre-approved right now or thinking about it, it's just such a, I don't want to say glorious. It sounds cheesy, but it is such a nice time to get into the market right now. It's such a great time.
You know what? Rose on our team, she's like the queen of holding offers. She's so she tells me last week, she goes, Rob, I'm holding offers. And I go, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just like, just price it right. And she goes, no. And so the price point was good. 400,000. She listed it.
That's good.
Nine offers.
Yeah.
And she got 550 for it. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was probably worth 5.25, maybe 530. But I mean, nobody went dramatically over, but they the price point is around there. So, I mean, if we went back to that way of doing things, I mean, it's just at a lower number than it was earlier this year. I mean, 9 offers, there must have been 50 showings on this place. So that tells me the buyer is out there. And now here's my theory that's going to happen in the next 60 to 75 days, Conrad and Brian. I think we're going to have a flurry of business that's going to happen, and it's only going to be for about a 3-week to 4-week part. That's it. A flurry. It's just going to be all of a sudden, we're all going to be doing the happy dance, say, hey, the market's back, houses are selling. I think we're going to see that before Christmas, but it's only a short little time frame that there's going to be a flurry. And I've seen this in spring markets where, the spring market is slow going and all of a sudden, bang, we got a big hit and it stops. It slowed right down. It was just 1 month of it. And I think we'll see that because too many people have been sitting on the sidelines and they're going to come back and they're going to come. And I think it's going to happen within the next 60 to 70 days. That's just a flurry. I'm not saying housing prices are going to go up, but I think houses are going to sell. And I think you're going to see that number go up. Either it's going to be in October or November or halfway mid-October to mid-November. But I think we're going to see a flurry of homes sell, and we're all going to be shocked and we're going to think, hey, it's over. Yeah. Not. It's just a little bang, and that's it.
You know what? It's so true. And it's to Brian's point. There are some people sitting on the sidelines that are saying, you know what? I don't know if I can make another market. This is my time. So there's people that are thinking I'm losing equity. If I have to sell within the next year or so, I'm going to jump in the market now and sell. Yeah, you're right. There could be some indicators that you'll see this flurry of activity, flurry of emotions, the end of the year, the uncertainty of January, all that kind of stuff. And the certainty of the market we got today. I can agree with that, Rob, 100%. Yeah.
Another thing I saw, and Connor, tell me if I'm right about this. The average sale price versus August and the average sale price right now in September. I did Hamilton and Niagara. It's about 1% difference. Am I correct about that?
Yeah.
So has the Eagle landed? Has it? Are we flatlining pretty soon? I think
I've been seeing it for a while. We'll see. Like I said, we'll see how September kind of rolls out. But September's a funny month because kids going back to school. But you know what? But I will say this. Look, at the beginning of the year, we all know it, the average was 109% of asking, right? Now we're at 95, 96, and we're holding pretty decent at that. Now there is price points like the price point you mentioned where it's going over 100%, and I think there's still a percentage that are going over list as well. But yeah, there's we're hovering at that, and that's that's that nice little market at that 95% of asking, 95, 96. It's a really, really great great speed.
I think people too, just on a point there, is that investors are starting to realize that they can cash flow in this market too. You just have to work harder, right? Before everything worked out from the investment standpoint, but I think people are starting to see with the rents that have gone up so much that people are willing to put their money back in. Maybe they don't want to get into a flip the tenant kind of situation, but if there's a vacant property or one that's a single family, duplex, triplex, we're seeing those investors start to be like, you know what, at these rates, but with these rents, I can cash flow. Not every single one's going to, but there are ones that will. And I think they're going to start to pile in too.
It showed that 25% of the homes in Hamilton sold for full price or more so far this month. 25. Now in Niagara, it was only 14%. Now I do think Niagara, they did skyrocket quite a bit. And
and
I think it needs to settle probably a little more. But I mean, like their prices are not that far off the Hamilton prices, like average sell price. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just
no, they're not off. No, they kind of, but and Niagara's got there's a huge builder and developer community that's been buying up lots of property there. So it's really on people's radar screen for new construction. Yeah.
So we just got a comment online. It said something about how's Thorold Properties going to be doing. I think Thorold's the same as St. Catharines and everything. Thorold's a nice little community. Depends where are you in Thorold, especially if you're like, like true old Thorold or just in general. But a lot of people like moving to Thorold. I think, it's a great area to move to or sell. Like I think the property values are strong there as well as St. Catharines and Niagara Falls. But guys, we're running out.
Let me add something. New construction will drive that pricing up as people start to see that new construction in those areas, like Thorold especially. Yeah, it's going to be all boats rise. That's the beauty of where that can happen, and it's gonna show you the value of new versus the value of resale. And it'll do well. It'll do quite well.
Yeah. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much. Conrad, thank you for coming on here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're in Cannes, France. Is that Cannes?
Cannes? I'm in Cannes. Yeah. South of France. Yeah.
Cannes and Cannes.
Buddy, I appreciate it. Dedicated
Absolutely.
guy. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.